Today's show we'll be talking about a nutritious thali. Yes, so all those folks following a fat diet, beware. This is going to be a healthy dose, or even better, one healthy diet to keep up with the nutrition for your wallet. Just like in a thali, we have different food groups in the form of carbs, protein, etc. This investment thali will also have various asset classes or the right mix of assets or investment instruments, especially for you. So, what's the kind of nutrition for your health that you are following now, and for the health of your portfolio, Feroz?
Yes, so I think the mantra in both the cases is balance, santulan, as we call it in Hindi. A balance is very critical. There are some things which, on a portfolio side, I'm allergic to, which is pure debt sometimes. I'm very allergic to because for long term goals. So, apart from some allergies, I would say it's a very balanced diet, is what is my mantra on both the sides, on the portfolio side and also on the health side. I have done my mistakes. I have been very protein heavy on the nutrition side, and I've had my learnings in the form of 1, 2 years of only eating protein, resulted in a lot of kidney problems for me. And but I was optically looking great. I had lost weight. I was ऊपर से मैं बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा था, but then when I got my tests done, then there was enough for me to correct. So balance is the mantra. And that's what, after a lot of rap on the knuckles, I've learned that balance is not compromisable.
Exactly, and the same should be applied for our viewers also in their entire investment portfolio. All right, but now the question arises, Feroz, you might want to answer this. Market conditions are never the same, okay? And talking about the items in a thali, how do we decide what's the right proportion or what's the right portion for us? We always tell people to invest more when the markets are down. Does that mean that, you should also be eating more if you're more hungry? What happens is, you really don't want to mess up with your health. And similarly, talking about your portfolio health and the kind of investment instruments you're talking about involved in diversification and your portfolio also overall, what's the right amount of portion, and on what factors can you also decide that?
Yes, Kavita, see, I think, like you said, times are not same, right? Similarly, when it comes to food, times are not same, right? I don't eat for breakfast a pizza, right? In fact, I don't eat one any time. But I'm making a point that there are different things you eat at different times. You would not have a heavy meal, ideally, if you wish to be correct. You would not have a very heavy dinner, right? Because you don't have the need of such energies to sleep, right? So point one is there has to be a different time, resulting in different kind of a portfolio composition. Time could be external factor, but I personally think internal factor from a time perspective is even more critical. If you're a youngster, then I would say that you're still in the bright 11 o'clock in the morning, right? So you have the capacity you need another 8, 10 hours of energy. So I would have more equity, right? But if you are in the fag end of life, maybe at the age of 80, would you want to, for your consumption monies, take the risk which a 30-year-old would want to take? For your intergenerational wealth, what you're going to give to your grandchild, you can still have equity. No? That's one thing which is very critical. So time is very critical. Second, when it comes to anybody in nutrition, they've always told me that you should eat. One Miss Devakar, of course, a very popular nutritionist. She assisted one of my senior colleague, and she said that you eat smaller portions, eat everything which grows around you. Don't eat something from New Zealand. Your body is also not accustomed to eat something from somewhere else. So, point is, do you want to go get crypto for yourself? May not be. Whatever is grown, homegrown, is something which is more healthier, both on the portfolio side and your nutrition side. The second is systematic investment plans, for example. She says have 8 different meals of smaller portions, but in a more disciplined fashion. So discipline, eat what you understand, what is next to you, rather than just go with the attractiveness of eating a kiwi which doesn't grow here, just to sound fancy. Maybe those are things which I think resonated very well with the investment thought process as well.
Feroz, now I'll come to you because you need to help us understand the chatpata element in our thali of investments. Now, how to go ahead with that?
Yes, when it comes to the chatpata element, I would say you have to be careful of what chatpata can you take and what you can't. For example, I would say gold is the chatpata item. Of course, so conventional that you would want to not call it the chatpata. I would call gold as the chatpata item. Of course, like garam masala, it goes with the color of gold. And when it comes to several other chatpata things, I have realized in my own portfolio, they actually create more damage. They sound very fancy, but they create damage. For example, like Ajinomoto, right? Might enhance the taste extensively, but may not be the right thing to add to your portfolio. So that's point one. Point two, you look at what is the thing which is fair. Now, for example, like you said, InvITs and REITs, like Emadri also said, those I would consider as instruments which are catering to a specific taste and a need. That's why they are the pickles and the masalas and the chatpata items of the thali, I would like to believe.
Talking about in financial planning sense, what are these fat diets or fat strategies according to you, which one should try and avoid as much as I can, and even if you want to follow one, see to it what suits you.
Okay, Kavita, you're absolutely right. There is actually, the more we discuss, it's getting clear in my mind that they are actually correlated variables, health and wealth. Both are very, very correlated variables. As far as I understand, when you go to a nutritionist, and the reason you go to a nutritionist is you can only get ground rules from books, both for investments and for to know what's right food. You will only get the foundation elements. But imarat aapko specifically banani hogi. So it's very important to get specific, and specific sometimes you might need somebody to understand your current situation and then tailor make as per your blood reports and your allergies the exact specific diet for you. Second, what are the implications of not having a balanced diet? Like you said, keto. And I have followed keto and I could understand the impact it had on my body. And that was very detrimental. I would say that sometimes the side effects are greater than the main effect. And when you superimpose a side effect, it could be life threatening. Now, let me give you two examples of not having a balance. There are several clients who sometimes get very carried away, especially in the current situation where you see 60% return on the broader market over the last year and a half. People get carried away and say, why not have all the money in equity? When you do that, when the tide turns, is when you know who's swimming naked. So what happens is several long-term investors become short-term investors. If you look at post-COVID era, which is FY21, FY21 was a year when Nifty averaged at 11,000, which was a great level to enter, but 1,25,000 crores of equity mutual fund assets went out from HNIs, apart from the SIP money, on a base of 6 lakh crores. That means 20% of the money was redeemed, which meant that if you are equity heavy, this is not even 100%. If people go 100%, I've seen people cry in 2008 and exit at the wrong time. So that's one. The second example I would want to give is something which is very dear to my heart. And I spent 2 hours debating with my
Right.
cousin who I lost, who was 32, and he had 97% of his wealth in real estate. I debated extensively. Unfortunately, a year after my extensive debate, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Okay, and his dad was running helter skelter to sell his properties so that he can go to MD Anderson, which is then Texas actually, for a treatment, and he needed 9 crores. The money was not available on a click of a button. So liquidity is meaningless. Matlab, illiquidity is something which completely defies logic. If you don't have half your money on a click of a button, then you're not wealthy. You might have whatever net worth, but not wealthy. So anything in a balance is very critical. I just thought India is real estate heavy, and you will find
Right.
several people who own one
Right.
Rolls Royce and 100 crores of real estate.
Sure. All right, I think great takeaways on the show today. My time is up, but then we definitely have many more aspects to be covered on this particular front. But then thank you so much, Himadri and Feroz, for taking time out and helping our viewers and giving them all the right strategies to keep their wallet healthy.